So I want to make a homemade 3-point trailer moving attachment. This is my John Deere 650. I currently only have about one attachment that I can use with it, and that's my rear blade. So I figured I'd make a something to move trailers with. Now I do have an attachment that goes on the loader of my Coyote. But the problem with that is you can move trailers really easy, but if you have to pull a trailer a long ways, you have to kind of do it in reverse. I mean, you can do it going forward, but the trailer gets really wonky. So I'd actually rather have something to pull trailers from the rear so you can go forward and, you know, can go quite a distance and it'd be easy to pull the trailer. Not to mention, I actually have I have a free trailer that's going to be given to me, but I can't get it with my pickup. It's in a place that you can't get any vehicles to, ironically. But I want to make this so then I can go pick that up and bring it home. And I'll have to drive down some public roads for a while, so I'd much rather pull the trailer than use my front attachment on my Coyote. So building this with materials that I already kind of have, I have this welding bench that I made quite a few months ago, and I got this really heavy duty square tubing, and I cut a bunch of it and had some leftover pieces, and ironically I just buried them in the bottom of my ballast box. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I went outside and I measured my rear blade, kind of where all the pins and everything are, and basically the bottom part from the start of the pin to the start of the pin is 25 3/4 inches, and then all the way up to the top pin it's about 16 inches. I don't have to get that exact, it's just kind of a rough estimate. Now, I've had this receiver for a while. I can't remember why I bought it, but I already had it. And then I also have a 3/4 inch top pin that I can use. But I was kind of thinking something like that, and just kind of weld all these things together into an upside down capital T. Now, if I really wanted to do this right, I would have a solid piece of square tubing, and then I would weld this receiver either to the bottom of it or the top of it. It'd be a lot stronger that way, but being I don't want to buy any more materials, I'm just going to have to weld this all together and hope it's strong enough. Sorry if the camera is all over the place here. So we're looking at 26 1/8. 26 1/8 is very close to 25 3/4. It's only off by, you know, 3/8 or whatever. So that's not bad at all. That'll more than fit on my 3-point. The top part here, we'll just get an estimate. We're looking at 14 1/4, but I have to weld on some pieces that go up and that the pin goes through. So that will give us more height, and I should be able to get pretty close to 16. Now I have some more scrap metal that's down there. I'll get that out in a minute. So far, the only things that I bought for this, I got 2 category 1 draw pins, which basically will get hooked to another piece of metal kind of right there. It's gonna roll, but basically something like that. And I also got a $10 step drill bit set. Comes with a punch and 2 step bits, and I don't have any drill bits that are that big to get this threading through. So I'm gonna have to use the biggest bit that I have and then just hone out the rest with a step bit. These are cheap bits, they get burned out really fast, but if I can at least drill out the metal enough to get this through, I'll be happy. It's kind of throwaway stuff. I can't afford really expensive drill bits. Now this is why I save scrap metal instead of taking it in for money. I also have that. It's not square though. It's exactly what I need. So this right here has got to be, I'd say, 1/4 inch steel at the least. It might be a little bit bigger. I don't know if it's 3/8 or not, but now let's see. Yeah, it's about 3/8, give or take. Maybe a little bit bigger. But anyway, I already have the holes in there. That's cool. So really, I'll just kind of section these off, and then I'll have to weld on some flat pieces on each end. That way the draw pins can go through. I wonder if that would fit. Wow, I already have half of my work done for me. And then up top here, I'll make 2 more. And then I'll have to drill those holes, and then the 3/4 inch quick bend here can go through that. So I have everything right here that I need basically. I want to make sure that with this metal tab on the side, I have enough room that I can get the washer and the nut on there, and an impact or socket or whatever. So I think that is enough room. Curious how what the length is on that. About 4 1/4. 2 at 4 1/4. Speed square. And then I want to utilize the holes in the end of this that have these. I don't even know where I got this piece of metal from. They might have been homemade lift arms for like a 3-point on a garden tractor or something. I really can't remember where I got them. But anyway, I want to utilize the holes that are already drilled in this, so then all I really have to do is drill a bigger hole and then finish off with the step bit. And I measured already, and what I want is 5 inches. And these can be adjusted before I weld them on, so the holes will definitely be lined up. 5 inches on each. $300. $250 to $300 for a county line trailer mover. And even though I originally had to pay money for a lot of this stuff, it's still going to be way less than what a new one costs. You know what? I'm going to extend this just a little bit. If you make something too long, you can always cut it, but if you cut it too short, it's not very easy to make it longer. And I'm going to cut the ends of these off so they're straight. Now, I might have said this before in another video, but if you're going to do fabricating, get 2 angle grinders and have a grinding disc on one and a cutting disc on the other. Makes it a lot easier doing projects. That way you don't have to switch them all the time. And I like to keep all this in a little tote. That way I know where all my wrenches are, all my discs. And then grinders, obviously. This one's shot and I used it way longer than I should have. And these are cheap anyway, so they go really fast, but I gotta grind these more, but it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna give it a minute. I gotta grind all these down too. It's kind of a burr on there. And then I'm gonna grind off whatever oil and whatnot is on the edge. That way the weld is as clean as it can be. Then I also need to grind this, so. Alright, so I got a bunch of these pieces ground down. Absolute clean metal. Anywhere that a weld is going to go. It makes such a huge difference having clean metal. And I think the cheaper the welder is, or the less powerful it is, it makes it that much more difficult to get a good weld when you got dirty metal or paint, whatever. So you kind of get my idea here. So I think I might use these leftover pieces to make kind of cross bracing, sort of. Which I can show that in a minute. So I'm just putting a 45 degree on here on each side. So I don't really trust my design. Like I said earlier in the video, if this square tubing was one solid piece, that length, then I could just put this receiver on top of the tube, you know, like this, and then all that weight would ride on that one piece. But since I'm putting these all together like this, I'm worried that the weight getting pushed down on this could break the welds and the whole thing could buckle. So these extra pieces that I have that I just drew the 45 in, I'll cut these and I can add them in there as support. So then at least I'll have some bracing. Yeah, so the both of these are pretty worn out. I need new cutting disc on there and a new grinding one. At some point you just have to cut your losses and throw it away, otherwise you'll just keep using it and until it blows up in your face. So here's the idea. Since I kind of free cut these two pieces, they're obviously not, you know, true 45 degree, you know, straight and all that. So I'm gonna have to mess with them to make them look good and get them as straight as I can, and then whatever gaps I do have I can fill in with weld. But I still have a little bit of grinding to do, and these two pieces here, before I weld these to anything, I need to drill holes that are at least three-quarter inches, so I can get this pin through. And then I'm kind of going to use the pin to help line up those two pieces up there anyways, so then everything's straight. That's my goal, is to get this thing as balanced as I can, so then it's not off kilter when I'm using it. But got the holes drilled. I was halfway surprised that these step bits even cut anything. They obviously went dull really fast. These are still hot, and that was 15 minutes ago I did that. So they're pretty much toast. One of these holes is a little bit too big, and that's my bad. I wasn't paying attention, but I think it'll be all right. So this is the Arccaptain MIG130 flux core welder that I'm going to be using. Haven't used it for a couple months, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine. loosen off. I think that's about it for this video. That was a lot more welding than I thought it would be. But don't worry, I'm going to throw this on the tractor quick so you can see it before the end of the video. But some of my welds, the welds are good. I think they're strong, but some of them are just kind of spotty. That one's, I don't like that at all. I got splatter all over too, and I think I'm gonna go over it with my grinder, do some more welding, and then I'll prime it and paint it. And then I can go get my free trailer that I've been meaning to go get. And funny as this is, I built this whole thing so then I could pull a trailer from behind the tractor, and I realized I can put a ball on the ballast box down there, so I could have went and picked the trailer up this whole time. But whatever, it's cool to have anyway, so. Looks pretty good. And I'll get these pins tightened down after it's primed and painted and everything, and I'll adjust the center link and the tensioners down there so it won't be, you know, like that. So I'll be able to adjust this thing out so then the ball or the hitch is more level. I'm happy with it. I just gotta say, this is an awesome welder. Again, it's an Arccaptain MIG130 flux core welder. And it works fantastic. I didn't have any problems with it, and it's been sitting for months in the humidity and heat. And it's not, you know, rusting or having any issues from the heat and the humidity. And I use this a lot today, and I'm really surprised I have that much wire left, because I used a lot of wire. But I never have feed problems, I never have ground problems. Basically any issue that I have while I'm welding is always my fault, not the welders. I get a ton of splatter on this nozzle, and that's just because my technique is poor. I don't weld very often, so when I do, I'm pretty rusty. And I make the best attempt I can to have clean metal, that way I never have grounding issues, and I never really do. And I was welding way out of what this is rated for, and it still did a really good job. So I highly recommend this welder. It's my favorite welder I've ever had, so I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with it in the future. Alright, this has been a long video, but stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.